I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a nice weekend. I had a losing weekend. Nothing crazy. I was slightly in the red on Saturday, but I lost like a half unit. And then on Sunday, I went 4-6. So probably dropped about 1.5 to 2 units over the weekend. Had a great Friday, so I went into it with some momentum, but not the great Saturday, Sunday. So hopefully we have a great Monday. Turn that around. We got Chris here too. Let's bring him on. And we're starting with number one in your programs, New York Knicks basketball.
Oh my God.
We've been waiting for this moment for some time now. Us Knicks fans, we wanted Boston. The whole time we wanted Boston. I wanted Boston in the first round. I'm not intimidated by Boston in the slightest. I know that city to its core. It's nothing to be threatened. It's nothing to be threatened about. So here we are in game one. And you already know that I've taken the points with New York. I'm on the Knicks. Now, okay. Entering this season, so we're going to rewind back to October 1st. Everyone take the journey with me. We're back on October 1st. The season hasn't started. The Knicks had a very good record against Boston, above 500. They've been a thorn in the Celtics side before this season. This season, Boston sweeps them 4-0, 3-1 against the spread. But what's important to take away from those 4 games? The four times that the Knicks have seen the Celtics this year, 3 of those games, there was no Mitchell Robinson. This is a very big factor, and I know you might be thinking, oh, Mitchell Robinson's not that important of a piece. Well, let me, you know what? I'm going to bring it up on the screen because I want you guys to see it. I want everyone to take it in. All right. Oh, whoops, wrong graphic. All right, so here's the meetings. Yes. Well, look at this right here. Mitchell Robinson returned on February 28th. Up until that point, to February 27th, the Knicks had the worst three-point defense in basketball. They were literally 30th in defensive efficiency against the three-point shot, 17th in overall defensive efficiency. That's from October to February 27th, so the first 2/3 of the season. Mitchell Robinson returns on February 28th, and what has been true since then? The Knicks don't have one of the best three-point defenses in the NBA. They have the best. They are literally first. They went from the worst three-point defense in the NBA to the best upon the return of Mitchell Robinson. The only time, here are the 4 times these two teams have met this year. The only time Mitchell Robinson was on the floor against the Celtics this year was on April 8th. The final score was 119-117 in overtime. So the only time we saw the fully healthy Knicks play Boston, shit went to overtime. It was a 2-point game. Oh, maybe I'm grasping at straws here. God, I want the wins. I want the Knicks to win so goddamn bad.
This is everything I hear is just like this could happen. This is fun.
It's a nice soliloquy, right, Lindy?
Come on, 30th,
Oh my God.
30th the
Chris,
first. 30th the first. No, that's nothing. That means nothing to you guys. 30th the first.
That just means that you spent a lot of time handicapping this game to go find that guy.
Nah. I know my Knicks. I know my New York Knicks. I'll be honest. I want this one bad. I want it real fucking bad.
Noticed.
So, Lindy, what are your thoughts on Mitchell Robinson and the Knicks' 3-point defense?
So, I mean, Mitchell Robinson's made me some money this postseason, so I'm okay with him. I'm actually 6-0 my last 6 NBA plays. So I'm actually the exact opposite, where I'm like 0-6,000 in MLB, it feels like, over the last week. But things rebounded a little bit on Sunday. I'm feeling pretty confident. I have some wild ones coming up later, but I don't really feel any sort of way about the spread. I mean, I have this closer to like 6.5, 7, but
thank you. I have it at 7.
Yeah, it's not going to get played by me purely
That
because
was the validation he was looking for, Lindy, just FYI.
No, that's not what you were getting from me. That was not me saying.
Just try it on, Lindy. Just try it on.
So try. Yeah, no, it fits like an O.J. Simpson glove. So It's great. Anyway, I like the total a lot. A lot. I locked it last night. The way I do things on my program and have for over 4 years now, leans, those are things I'm thinking about betting. Likes, those are generally around half unit plays, sometimes quarter when you're going to the home run market, sometimes more when, it might be a heavily juiced prop of some sort. And then locks, those are a unit or more. I have a lot down on the total here. I have this at 222, and I just really don't see what anybody's seeing with this. I know Drew Holiday's back defensively, which, obviously two-way player can really, really help out, but I don't really know what the Knicks do if they're trying to get Karl Anthony Towns going in this series. Sharing the floor with Mitchell Robinson is not necessarily going to work like it did in the last series. I really do think Mitchell Robinson, you're going to have to make some really, really smart choices if you're Tom Thibodeau, and it's going to be very game script dependent. I think you're going to see Mitchell Robinson out on the floor in a lot of games where they're up, similar to Steven Adams in Houston. I think you're going to see Karl Anthony Towns playing the 5 a lot. But they shared a ton of overlap in the last series. It's just a completely different situation, taking on an Orlando team that was packing it in and really had no perimeter shooting. I think the Knicks have more than enough, not anything crazy good. I mean, it's not like Jalen Brunson's out there taking 3 after 3 after 3. He does so much of his work in the mid-range at the rim, but OG Anunoby enough, Josh Hart at times enough. Miles McBride, we'll see what his role is in this series, but I just don't really see how Boston, they do play slower, but this feels like this is an overcorrection to what we just saw in an Orlando series. It has to do with the Boston team total here. I just got it higher than what the market does at the moment. I mean, I think that's like a nice entry point. 111.5, I believe, was the original number inside of -110, -108 at FanDuel. I think that's appealing, but I get that these two teams, I mean, pull up that graphic you just had up one more time.
But the Knicks defense with Robinson?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is really the question. Look, no, it's more to do, and I know it's different postseason time, but the Knicks don't really change what they do postseason time. Put up the last graphic of the head-to-head, because I think that this is the fascinating one to me. Look at those fucking totals. What am I missing? What am I actually missing? I don't get it.
I get that.
I don't.
But I feel like we've seen a lot of games in these playoffs where, like, I modeled out to 225 and the final score is 104-100. I kind of think it goes under just from the faces, but I didn't bet the under. I'm on the Knicks. I have this one exactly at 108.5 to 101.5. So I have it at 210.
I get it. It's not regular season basketball, but still the style that Boston plays, they're going to shoot over 50% of their 3-point attempts. And you could say, oh, they're going to either make their shots or they're not. You look at Golden State yesterday up against Houston. I mean, Houston couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. You had multiple games, Clippers, Denver, kind of the same thing. Clippers couldn't make anything. It's just, this is a Boston team I just still trust to put up points, and New York's going to have to keep pace. And I do think getting Mitchell Robinson off the floor is probably going to be better for their long-term outlook on this series. I thought he was awesome last series. When called upon, Mitchell Robinson played some really good basketball, but you can't really have Cat and Mitchell Robinson. I just don't see that working out for them in this series. And when we have these game ones and we're trying to be early to the market, I mean, things are going to change. Think of Rudy Gobert. He didn't really matter in the first 4 games of the Minnesota series. In game 5, he's playing against a bunch of, middle school. It's like the tall kid in middle school who just, puts the ball in the bucket, 28-20. But I don't know. It feels like Boston, if they're remotely competent from 3, this total is way too low.
Chris?
I would agree with Lindy. I didn't bet the total, but yeah, 212.5. And Kyle, you make a lot of sense, right? Slowest paced team in the NBA, second slowest paced team in the NBA. I just feel like while y'all 3-point defense has been a lot better, I'm not gonna go as far as you said it's been good, Kyle. But the 3-point defense has been better recently. I still don't think it's as good as Orlando's as far as putting pressure on the ball and forcing teams off the 3-point line. And when I looked at the Knicks team total, it's like 101.5. I mean, there's still competent players out there for the Knicks that should be able to score, 102 points. So, and I do think that Boston's going to be able to score as well. I think we may see an under in game 2 after some adjustments are made, and we see, maybe this one goes over and the line makers, shoot it up to, I think this was at 215.5. I just feel like it's bought down too low. Maybe we see a total that's higher than in game number 2, and then that game goes under based on some adjustments. But I like over as well. Boston team total over, full game over. I think Boston's going to do a lot of the scoring. To Lindy's point, going back to those numbers in the 4 games, Boston averaged 125 points per game, scored 118 in every one of those games, and they made an average of 21 threes on 44% shooting from the 3-point line. So yeah, I think Boston will be able to score. I also think Brunson will be able to score as well. I mean, you still got guys like Karl Anthony Towns and like OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges. I think that they'll be able to score. And I say this, I think there'll be different parts of the game where it will slow down, but I also think there will be 3 or 4 minute stretches where we see 6 or 7 threes made between the two teams. So I think it goes up and over the super low total of 212.5 to get things started here. Then adjustments.
I think 212.5 is a high total with the 2 slowest paced teams in the playoff game.
I disagree because of the efficiency. I mean, that's got to be
into. It's the E word, right?
Duke in college. I mean, Duke was one of the slowest paced teams in college basketball this year. Did it matter? No.
Cal, this is where you go, Lindy. You go, Cal. Remember Minnesota, LA. Remember all those games went under, and you were like, "Oh, I think this one is going to go over." Remember that? And it flew up and over the total.
That was 205.5, Chris.
You're talking about 6 more points against the number 1 3-point shooting team in the NBA.
Exactly.
And your boy Brunson.
I didn't bet the under, so I don't want to argue that. I'm on
the
Knicks.
Cal, you think the Knicks score 102 points today?
I have met 101.5.
Jesus, that's low.
What?
Okay. I think Boston's defense is good, but 101 is like
you get that. So people are talking in the chat about it. You go about modeling stuff. For me, I do it on an individual player basis. Some players are going to add pace, remove pace. You can look at the individual lineups. Obviously, for New York, it's very easy to evaluate over on NBA.com because they're one of the 5-man lineups that have played the most amount of minutes on a per-game basis. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart. Those 5 share the floor together more than just about any other 5 on a per-game or a per-minute basis. There were a lot of injuries this year, so total minutes is skewed relative to other teams, but I just don't see it. I have the Knicks at 106.5 points.
Hope you're right. I hope you're right. We're gonna need every one of those motherfuckers.
Yes, you are, and and not the half. You need the 107. Yes. You need the tippy top range. But even in that scenario, if it's competitive there, I mean, 108, 107 gets me there. I mean, I model this out so many different ways over on Dunks and Threes and then kind of going through my process of stuff. Dunks and Threes has this at 222. I just really don't see where you land on 212, 213. I mean, this has come up from 211.5. I think I got my first half unit down, and I asked so many people that I could, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? And they just constantly said, oh, it's the playoffs. That doesn't do enough for me. That just doesn't.
Let's move on to game number 2. By the way, poll, pretty split on that one. 45% Boston, 40% Knicks. Way more people selecting the over than the under. 12% over, 3% under. So the viewership tends to agree with you guys that it goes over the total. Denver, Oklahoma City. I bet this one as well. I laid it, guys. I laid the 9.5 with the Thunder.
I did too. 8.5 though. I got open.
Good work. I did not get the open. I got 9.5. Is it at 10 now? I saw 10s popping up this morning.
I saw some 10s popping up too.
So our graphics says,
I see a 10.5 over on ESPN Bet. So yeah.
All right. So I'm on Oklahoma City minus the points. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not trying to take credit away from the Nuggets in the last series. That was a lot of fun to watch. I do think if there was a pie chart of what happened in that series, a big chunk of that pie chart would be the Clippers choked, rather than the. I don't. Again, I'm not trying to take. If you're a Nuggets,
James Harden.
Yeah, if you're but it was Kawhi Leonard in game 1. Like they took turns choking. They passed that choke ball around. But so if you're a Nuggets fan, I'm not trying to shit on you or take away credit. Nuggets played fine, but think a big, like I said, big chunk of the pie chart of what happened in the first round is Clippers fumbled the bag bad. And so basically the point I'm trying to make is that opening round series didn't move the needle for me a whole lot for Denver. Maybe it gave me a little more faith in their defense, but by no means do I think Denver is a good defense. Maybe instead of a below average defense, they're an average. Like I still don't trust the Nuggets defense. And now you're going on the road to Oklahoma City. And what has been true about Oklahoma City this year? they handle their shit against good teams. I mean, that's just been abundantly true all year. They've played so well against good teams. And I want to bring something up real quick. So I'm going to bring up the same graphic for this series. Here was how I modeled out the Knicks game, by the way. So you might look at the game.
It was under.
I got the under. I got it at 210.
Oh my God.
So you might look at the head-to-head from this year and say, hey, Kyle, Denver beat Oklahoma City twice. And that is true. The Nuggets did beat the Thunder twice. But in my opinion, there's asterisks next to both of those. On November 6th, no Hartenstein. And if you remember, there was a stretch there where Oklahoma City was playing no defense, and they were a shell of what they are right now in the second half of the season. I mean, without Hartenstein's been a key piece for them. So without Hartenstein, Oklahoma City wasn't playing much defense. They actually lost a few games in that stretch. So maybe not a huge asterisk there, but they weren't at full strength. And the March 10th one, who gives a shit? I mean, they just played the night before. They played on March 9th. Oklahoma beat the brakes off them. Then the next night, they played the same team in the same building. Aaron Gordon is ruled out. One of those games where clearly they just came out flat. So these don't really move the needle for me. What I like is right here. What kind of team is the Denver Nuggets? Number one, they're a strong offensive team with a questionable defense. That's the bread and butter for Oklahoma City. They've been so strong against those types of teams that fit that description all year. Against top 10 offenses, they're 19-6 against the spread. Against top 10 offenses, against bottom 10 defenses, 27-2 against the spread. So teams that try to come in and out-offense Oklahoma City usually get the work. I don't see any reason to step in front of this train right now. Especially Denver coming off a hard-fought series down to the wire. Maybe it's not like this the entire series, but I think in game one we see a firm knockout punch early. I think Oklahoma City wins comfortably. I'm on the Thunder. Lindy, you with me?
I have no idea what to do with this basketball game in any way, shape, or form. The more I run it, the more frustrating it gets. And I do think that there's going to be some kind of an overcorrection to rotations in the first game of this series. I don't know how long. I mean, Russell Westbrook is such an anomaly because he ended up playing much better basketball this entire season, I would say. But that just speaks to like Jokic elevating guys that, hey, we have a role for you on this team. And I don't think anybody watched Russell Westbrook in LA with the Clippers or Lakers or wherever he's been recently and thought that he could be a playoff contributor. And he's definitely taken off in this role. And you could see 23 minutes from him in this game. You could see 18 minutes from him in this game. You could see 33 minutes from him in this game. He's going to be so not even game script dependent. Just what is he creating as far as like second chances on the offensive rebounds? You know, obviously last game was an anomaly with 5 steals and just ridiculous transition stuff from him. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that I think looking at props right now on the Denver side, everything's pretty darn efficient. Christian Braun, he's somebody who's playing gobs of minutes and has obviously played into double figures the last 4 of that Clippers series, a very difficult defensive matchup, maybe easier for him with, you know, Harden kind of being left over on him there, Jamal Murray getting the Chris Dunn treatment in that starting unit. But I don't know what OKC runs out for rotations right from the get-go here. Alex Caruso is going to play more. I mean, that's been the calling card for OKC. If you go back and watch the game against Milwaukee in the NBA Cup, Alex Caruso played way more. He's going to play way more in the playoffs. He's basically been in bubble wrap, allowing for this team that is so good at every position and has guys like Wiggins and Dort and shooting coming off the bench, as well as, you know, size now in the front court. Rebounding was their major issue, as you brought up before. Isaiah Hartenstein, 8.5 points is something I've been staring at all day. Haven't done a damn thing about it, but I think this is a really hard game to navigate. It would probably lend me towards the OKC side as well, as both of you guys are sitting there with 9.5s. It's just the best team in basketball by every metric across the board. Offensive rating, defensive rating, just net rating on dunks and threes as well. It makes it hard for me to say that this line is quote unquote wrong or, you know, that we should be jamming there. It's enough respect for Jokic. It's enough respect that Denver, I kind of want to just see what they roll out for matchups and react from props in game 2. it's all right to kind of take the backseat on a game if you don't have a feel for it. I have no idea how much OKC is going to push their main guys in a game that they're up 15. Like how far down the bench they're going to go, what it is that they plan to do, because I do expect the rotations to tighten up as these playoffs progress. I don't think Aaron Wiggins is going to be long for many series. I don't think Dort is going to necessarily be in some closing lineups where they're down in games, which is going to be very rare. So, yeah, it's an interesting basketball game, an interesting series. I'm going to hit the brakes on it.
Yeah, personally, I have this one for anyone that was curious. I have this one at 12. 118.4, 106.56. That's where I have this.
That's closer to where I have it too, but again, the total looks perfect.
I have it at 225 on the nose.
Yeah, I said I had it at 225.5 last night. I haven't reran anything for today because there's just been nothing that's changed unless we see starting lineups roll out and something weird happens. But Russ and OKC, you can tell me anything happens and I'll believe you tonight. Like I have no clue what to make of it. Do you, Chris?
Yeah, I think they'll leave him open for threes again. Or honestly, I don't think that they'll leave him open for threes again. I feel like he burned the Clippers in the last series with his ability to be able to knock down some outside shots, because that's what, Ty Lue, that was the lesser of all the evils on the board. It was like, all right, let's try to take away this thing. But the thing that we'll leave open is Westbrook. For three, yeah, let's go ahead and leave him open. And he was able to knock him down. I kind of feel like the biggest advantage that the Oklahoma City Thunder have that the Clippers didn't have in the last round is that they have two bigs. You're not going to slow Jokic. I mean, you're not going to stop Jokic. We know that, right? Like, he's the best center that we maybe have ever seen. Like dude is really, really good. So when you have the ability to be able to throw multiple guys at him, though, right? When you have Isaiah Hartenstein and a Chet Holmgren, and the ability to be able to slow down some of those other guys. So Aaron Gordon had a lot of, put back dunks. He was down there bodying people on the block and, just kind of getting to the rim at will. I don't think that's going to happen. Jamal Murray's going to have his hands full. He's going to be in the torture chamber. Alex Caruso, another really good defender they can throw at him as well. So I kind of think that even though Denver wants to run because they've been a team that's ran all season, Oklahoma City, top 5 in the league in opponent's transition defense. And also the Denver Nuggets are not a team that shoots a lot of three-pointers, bottom 5 in three-point attempts. I don't think that those threes are going to fall. To your point, Kyle, that game that they won in Oklahoma City, they scored 140 points, shot 56% from the three-point line. It was one of only 4 games this season where they hit 18 threes. Jesus. I don't think that that's going to happen again. So, yeah, they played 90 games. They've hit 18 threes 4 times. So, yeah, I think the other thing, the icing on top the icing on top, the you guys didn't mention this, but it's the rest versus, I guess you could say, rust in this game specifically that really just kind of led me to OKC wanting to take them. Always looking to fade the team in Game 7 that has 1 day of rest compared to Oklahoma City team that has 8 days of rest. I pulled that up this morning on my show. It's a 79% trend where the team that has I didn't look at 8 days. I looked at six or more days rest compared to just 2 days or less rest. And those teams typically win by about 11 to 12 points per game, and they typically cover the number about 79% of the time. So, yeah, that was enough to put me on OKC in this spot, thinking that they do throw the first punch, like you said, Kyle. Try to send a message.
Yeah, and to that trend you just shared, UCapper actually shared something about a couple minutes ago. Teams off of Game 7 versus teams off of Game 4. So in this spot, Oklahoma City swept. Denver went to 7. 2-13 straight up, 3-12 against the spread. So historically, you fade the team off the Game 7.
Yeah. Completely makes sense. I will say the one other guy to pay attention to in this series, Peyton Watson was the best player off the bench for either team in multiple games throughout the series. In that last game that they played, what was it, on March 10th, Peyton Watson came off the bench. He was one of those major catalysts from 3, actually, known for his defense. Obviously, he is a very good defender out on the floor, but 4 for 4 from 3, 6 for 7 from the floor. Denver only played an 8-man rotation. They went to Zeke Naji and Jalen Pickett a little bit as well. Russell Westbrook was still in the starting lineup, and you did have Jamal Murray. He played 40 minutes in that game. So yeah, very tight rotation for Denver OKC in that game from the Denver side. But once again, I just don't feel confident enough in it to do anything about it. But Peyton Watson wouldn't surprise me if he was a really nice live bet target.
Let's talk some baseball. Chris, enjoy your day. See you tomorrow.
Best of luck on the diamond, fellas. Appreciate you having me, Cal. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Later, man.
Good to see you, bud.
You too.
Good luck. Good luck.
It's time to summon Toast.
God damn it. This show got worse. Nope, not once. You don't smile. You don't smile and make me feel like Chris just puts me in a good mood when I talk with him. You know what you do? The opposite.
People didn't hear that. Toast behind the scenes says, I don't think Lindy has ever once wished me good luck.
Nope. You guys are fine. You're fine. Chris, it just makes me warm and fuzzy. You guys, again, it gets a little contentious from time to time. Mom and Dad are yelling at the dinner table, but that's okay. That's the way we like.
Bet with Toast every day for 4 years. It's impossible not to yell at him. I swear to God.
He's just got that. It's not even a punchable face. It's like a yelling at-able face.
No, and you could tell when he's getting mad. He's like mad at a certain fan base or a certain and he starts betting base because he's mad. I'm like, no, dude, stop it.
Well, how'd that work out with Bowden Francis yesterday?
We get it. You hate Bowden Francis, and it worked. See if it works again. First up, Dodgers, Marlins. A lot of difference of opinion here on what's going to happen for Mr. Alcantara. Lynn, do you think Sandy pitches well?
No.
I agree. There's a lot of people today that think that Sandy can pitch well.
Do you have anything for the game, Lindy?
Not me.
Yeah, no, I've got Shohei Ohtani home run plus 285, currently sitting plus, what is the best available? It was over at FanDuel, plus 255. Anything better than plus 245 would be a bet. It's kind of the break-even number. Shohei Ohtani is breaking everything. He's the most probable guy I have to hit a home run by a mile. 690 expected slugging, 65.9% hard hit. New York and Aaron Judge have some pretty brutal weather. It looks like it's going to be okay, but wind blowing in from left field. This is obviously not the greatest ballpark on planet Earth for lefty power, but it's Shohei Ohtani who 2/3 of the time a ball is getting hit over 90 miles per hour. It's getting hit with high launch. He is just taking, he took the first pitch for a ride against Alcantara last time around. Again, this is such a brutal spot for Sandy. Like you're in Dodger Stadium and it's like, all right, I just got shelled. What's my next start? Well, it's the Dodgers in Miami. Have fun. What a terrible run for this guy. And obviously Sandy's struggling to really find his form in the early portion of this season. And it's very easy to see that it's a control issue. He's not hitting his spots. He's got a 14.2% walk rate. His previous high in a season over the last 6 years, 2019, 9.7%. So we're talking 4.5% higher. Just giving free passes to a team like the Dodgers is just going to spell disaster. And then he's got the highest max exit velocity of any starting pitcher who's qualified currently in baseball, who's had at least 4 starts, 397 xWOBA to go with it, 524 expected slugging. Other than the occasional ground balls that he's able to induce that, if you can avoid, complete disaster, they're sweet. But it's not the same guy right now. His movement profile is way off. Everything about him is just way off to me.
Toast, did you you said you were leaning towards overs by the way, that other graphic on the screen for Lindy is because on his show, he mentioned if you wanted to ladder Dodgers team totals.
I want to, but I didn't because the numbers are just egregious.
Yeah, so I didn't play a side either way. I don't think that Sandy can pitch well. If anybody knows me, Sandy was the first Major League Baseball play I ever gave out. This is the reason that I made that bet on this channel. I have a love affair with Sandy Alcantara. But that being said, he's just not the same guy like Andy said. And I'm not going to repeat everything that Lindy said because I don't know all of it, but I know that it was very well illustrated. But what I can tell you is that I played Ohtani props as well. I just did 2.5 hits, runs, and RBI. He's in my underdog fantasy as well. We'll get to later. But the only thing I can really add about Ohtani is that this is like the best park he plays in. He has the highest OPS of all the ballparks he's ever seen. Part of that has to do with his huge game last year, but he's 9 for 25 in this ballpark with 4 home runs. He's absolutely slaughtered Sandy as well. So Sandy versus lefties is really, really bad too. So if you wanted a Freddie Freeman, maybe a Max Muncy. I know that he's been terrible, but had a double last night, had another hard hit ball last night too. So maybe a Max Muncy if you're trying to get freaky, but just Ohtani overs.
Freaking naughty.
I don't care about the bullpen day. If I was to bet this game, it would just be Dodgers -1.5. I didn't. And Trevor Vanderbosch is in the comments holding a Sandy Alcantara under 2.5 earned runs. He's the only person that thinks Sandy's going to deal tonight.
Best of luck to you, sir. I also would like to refinance my car. So if you have money you want to just give away, I'm in the business. Go ahead.
Toast. Actually, I got the underdog set up right here for you.
Yeah, well, we just talked about Ohtani, and then we have Juan Soto on the road in Arizona. I think there's going to be a lot of runs scored here tomorrow, not to mention the fact that the Arizona bullpen's not in good shape. Soto had a home run robbed from him yesterday. Not to mention the fact on Underdog, the walks are worth 3 points as well. So even if he takes a couple walks a day, he's going to hit those fantasy points. So Juan Soto and Ohtani over their fantasy points.
That's on Underdog Fantasy. The promo code is BET, B-E-T, up to $1,000 deposit bonus match. Cleveland on the road at Washington. And this is Toast fake sharp play of the day. I am on Cleveland. And if you're wondering, Kyle, how come you didn't get any closing line value on this at my -115? It's because there are fake sharps out there like Toast that think Jake Irvin's going to pitch well. So we're not on exact opposite sides. He's on the Nats first 5. I'm on Cleveland full game. But go ahead. I will say if you're taking the Nats, I'd stay to the first 5. I think Finnegan probably will be available. Same goes for Ferrer, but Jorge Lopez will not. So not only is the Nats bullpen terrible and unreliable, but they're missing one of their key arms. So Cleveland with Gaddis and Cade Smith, I mean, when it comes into the late innings, especially against a bad bullpen, this team is just never out of it, honestly. Jake Irvin has struggled against lefties this year. Cleveland's probably going to have 8 lefties in the lineup. So I personally think Cleveland could hit Jake Irvin. But even if Toast is right, even if the Nats are up 3-1 after 5 innings, we're still very much alive in this. So I'm on the Guardians at -115. Toast faded me in the first 5, I guess.
I didn't fade you. I don't even know if I knew by the time I made this, but I don't even know if you were on them. But I do think that I like to target Jake Irvin at home. I know that it hasn't really looked good so far this year, but he did have a good start against the Mets. And then the other 2 starts were against the Dodgers and Arizona, 2 teams that can absolutely kill right-handed pitching. I get that he has struggled a little bit versus lefties, but if you look at like the lefties in some of those lineups, you can probably understand why. But it's more for me. It's more about the Nats lineup kind of in general. So first and foremost, against right-handed pitching, it hasn't really been that great. But if you take a look at some of the righty starters that these guys have had to face over the last couple of weeks, Hunter Green, Taijuan Walker, Zach Wheeler, Griffin Canning, Meatball McGill, Clay Holmes, Kodai Senga, Sagano, Dean Kramer. I mean, obviously not all those guys are great, but that's a lot of pretty decent right-handed pitching, not to mention the fact that the Nats, all their numbers go up exponentially when they're at home. CJ Abrams is starting to play like the CJ Abrams we all know and love. So I just like all the advantages, not to mention I think that Cleveland kind of skated through that Toronto series. They won some games, but we'll see if they can do it again. But I trust Jake Irvin at home to pitch well. I don't trust Washington late in this ball game at all in any way, shape, or form.
So I don't think I have a pick here for Lindy in this one, but if you were to side with one of us, who would it be?
It would be the Nats first 5 for sure. Without a doubt, I'd be with Toast, but I didn't play it because I don't trust Jake Irvin in any way, shape, or form. I have a ton on this game.
Oh, really?
So Nate Lowe is the first one, home run, plus 620. I didn't have any on it last night. It all is today. And then something happened. It was really, really nice. First off, to cover Nate Lowe, he's got 6 homers all against right-handed pitching, 99 plate appearances. That's north of a 5% home run expectation. That is just ridiculous stuff to start off. It's a very small sample size, but being a lefty himself, it is no surprising that he has a 909 OPS here going up against right-handed pitching. He's hitting it with loft. He's doing really good things, and he's batting cleanup today because there's no Josh Bell, who was terrible, and then now he has been out the last 2 days. I don't even know if he got put on the IL yet. Haven't seen that come through. But plus 620 is where I got this. Not sure where it's at now. I'd be playing it at plus 485 or higher, so that's got to be just about everybody who has access to that number. Luis Ortiz, he's famous to us here on this program because he's the guy who gave up 2 bombs to Corey
was
Seager.
That Ortiz? I didn't know
that was Luis Ortiz. When he pitched for Pittsburgh against Corey Seager, first at bat, second at bat, basically said he is going to hit 2 home runs immediately off Luis Ortiz. You know what he did? He hit 2 home runs immediately off Luis Ortiz. So that's fun. But there's another thing that Luis Ortiz is terrible at, absolutely horrendous at, and it is holding runners. We have an amazing opportunity with Alex Call, and the numbers haven't changed whatsoever. So here's what I did. Took a walk plus stolen base single game parlay plus 750. Took a single plus stolen base parlay, paid plus 900. And then Alex Call. Let's talk about it. He was in the 7 hole or the 5 hole and then the 9 hole. He's basically not a regular everyday player, but with Bell out, you're going to have Lowe in the field. And then you have an opportunity to run like crazy against Luis Ortiz, who 7 times people have already stolen on him this season, 0 caught stealings. Bo Naylor is catching for him. Bo Naylor, amazing framer of the baseball, potentially the worst blocker of the baseball at the catcher position, period, with Luis Ortiz throwing in the dirt more than 15% of the time. So we have tons of stolen base equity, and Alex Call is not some speedster, but here's the difference between him and Dylan Cruz and CJ Abrams and these other guys. He's literally put from the 7 hole, 9 hole up to the 2 hole, and the numbers haven't reacted whatsoever. He is known for his stolen base pedigree back in AAA, and now he is hitting north of 340 on the season in a very limited sample size, but there are ways that you can really capture some upside. The biggie I posted over on X, it's a FanDuel parlay, put $50 on it, pays $5,000.
All right,
2 stolen bases, 2 hits, and a single.
So those
are
Alex
the combinations. Alex Call, batting second. So Alex Call, we are going 2 stolen bases, 2 plus hits, and a single. I repeat, he also has north of a 17% walk rate. He strikes out less than 10% of the time. It is extremely important that you put money on this because you don't get opportunities like this. Again, that's plus, that's a bigger number than what you just typed in. It is 10000 plus 10,000. 100 to 1 is what we're getting.
All right. Hold on. Let me make this fit better too. Plus 2 stolen bases and plus
2 hits.
10,000.
And then you put a single with it. You do the profit boost that everybody has for today, and you get yourself up to $5,000 for a payoff on $50.
Plus 10,000. Guarantee you, if this doesn't hit, there's going to be angry comments. It's like, dude,
here we go. I'll just do this.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a big one if it hits.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Padres Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Weird one. Is the weather still a question mark here? We were talking about this last night, Lindy.
Looks better. Looks much better than it did last night.
Yeah, Kevin Roth just tweeted that he was optimistic about this game.
Well, so my opinion last night was if you take the weather out of it, which obviously you can't, but if there was no weather, I think 7.5 is too low. So I was saying over or pass, but between the weather and these two starting pitchers do have high ceilings. So I didn't bet it or anything. I think 7.5 is a little low. And Carlos Rodon, 3 great starts in a row. Let's give him some credit. He's looked great. 3 straight starts. He's pitched against 3 teams that don't really hit lefties. I mean, well, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. What?
And on the road.
That too. But it would be over a pass. I'm going to talk a lot about it because I didn't bet it, but I think 7.5 is too low, and I think Rodon's due for a bad one. So Pavetta's been so good too, though. It's tough, and the Yankees' bats are so streaky, as Toast loves to point out. So it would be over a pass for me. Lynn, do you have anything for this one?
Nope.
I have a graphic here for you. Machado?
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Machado home run, was looking at it. I really think it's pretty thin. Some of the opening numbers are pretty thin on it. 57% hard hit for him, 573 expected slugging. You get a lefty who has been pitching really, really well. Carlos Rodon to start off. We can all remember times in recent history that Carlos Rodon has not been as airtight. 5.34 expected ERA in 2023, 4.14 in 2024. This could be a very small sample size type situation. He's pitched with really good pitching weather in New York. Like, there's been some cold games early on in the season where he was pitching. 39 degrees at first pitch against Milwaukee, 42 degrees first pitch at home against Arizona. Let's see. Both of those, again, you got to avoid Arizona for sure in cold weather. That was nice. It was on the road in Detroit. That was, probably his worst start, I would say, of the season. I watched almost that entire one. San Francisco, not great success there. Got to take on Tampa in Tampa. That's probably the most impressive start of his entire season by far. Cleveland, Baltimore, not sure what I'd make of those. The strikeouts have been up. I'm just going to take a backseat because I don't trust it. He has that walk rate that looks auspiciously similar, like a mean, it's not to Robbie Ray territory, but when you start to be a favorite in these kind of situations, it definitely leans me towards taking a shot on Pivetta, who has found ways of avoiding a lot of the righty power that exists. But when you model it out, I've got it like plus 125 out of one here for the or it's like plus 125 efficient number. So getting plus 129 is pretty thin. I don't think you're going to be beating the big long term.
All right, so you didn't end up taking this.
No, I'm a pansy.
Toast, did you end up pulling the trigger on the Yankees? You said you liked the Yankees last night.
I didn't. I just feel like this game could go either way. I know that Pivetta, the Yankees, theoretically should probably have an idea of how to deal with Pivetta because he played so long in Boston. But I really think that Ruben Nieves really messed with his pitch mix and everything. So I think what we're seeing from Pivetta doesn't really translate to what the Yankees have seen from him. But that being said, I do think that this is like a Yankee spot with I always look at the Padres bullpen. That's like that's what you have to look at with them is if they're fully 100% or they're going to bring the B squad. And it's going to be the B squad tonight because you're not going to have Jason Adam and then Estrada and Morihone are both 2 of the last 3 days. So after Pivetta comes in, you're probably and Wandy Peralta is also 2 of the last 3 days. So you're looking at Jacobs and maybe I guess I don't know. We'll see who they throw out there. But regardless, the Padres bullpen's not in great shape. So it would only be the Yankees for me. I didn't bet this game. I was looking at Manny Machado props as well because he does hit left-handed pitching so well, but I didn't pull the trigger on anything.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next up is Cincinnati, Atlanta. Not as much closing line value as I thought I'd get on this one.
Sometimes it's really hard to get that on just the team total.
On just the team totals, right.
Like if you get 10, 15 cents, you should probably be pretty happy.
I think I have 10 cents.
Give or take.
And you're never going to see a team total move a run.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to see that. And so it's like they open pretty darn efficient and you should just be happy anytime you get 10, 15 cents period in the team total market.
Yeah. I mean, like for instance, like really, I don't know off the top of my head, the Pirates first 5 team total today was I think 145 at open yesterday. It's at like 165 now. That's like the best you're probably going to get.
Yeah, and you'll see totals that like in Coors Field that go 9.5 to 10, and that half can be, it's like you're basically just saying game environment was under projected, and you're going like 0.2 to both sides of it. What does that equate to in terms of money? Like that, it's just each one is going to get such a microscopic change. They open pretty close. And yeah, again, 10, 15 cents is really, really good in team total markets.
I got minus 125. I'm pretty sure it's like minus 135, minus 140. So it's so solid.
Great.
Now the reason for my bet, not a Smith-Shawver guy. I think the Reds should have no problems hitting off him. Also, Braves bullpen is compromised. No Iglesias tonight. Hernandez 2 of the last 3. Dylan Lee 2 of the last 3. Yet they're gonna need to rely on Pierce Johnson to pitch an important inning in this game potentially. He threw 18 pitches yesterday. So Braves bullpen is just fully compromised. I just expect Reds runs, especially coming off an embarrassing 4-1 loss to the Nationals at home. Just an embarrassing performance for the Reds bat. So I think they bounce back and score some runs here. The reason you don't see a Reds money line graphic below my face here is I am not spoiler alert, Toast is about to tell you he bet the Reds money line. I am not sold on Brady Singer making a road start here in Atlanta. I think it's very possible they smack him around. So rather than try to get cute with it, I actually think Lindy's on the Reds too. So these guys have more faith in Brady Singer than I do. But I agree with you guys that the Reds are going to score. I'm just not sold on Brady Singer making a road start. So Lindy, I saw Reds first 5 is you?
Yeah, so I'm first 5. I'd want to go right after Smith-Shawver. He's got the lowest ground ball percentage on the entire slate today, 27.8%. I wish it were a little bit more humid. Smith-Shawver's kind of been living on thin margins. 6.53 expected ERA next to a 3.60 xFIP is so weird. It's such a weird deal. And then you just kind of move across. He has been unlucky in some departments, 385 BABIP, but the strikeouts have been somewhat up for him. I think it's all over the map, but I think it comes down to this. The Atlanta lineup has now had to sit in rain on Saturday. Then they play the ESPN game Sunday. And I'm not a huge, working through that methodology, but I do think that there's something to be said about playing into like 1:30 a.m. local time on Saturday into Sunday morning, and then having ESPN responsibilities where you're on camera doing all that shit, and you play late, and the other team gets to pack it up, get there, sit nice and shiny in a hotel room. And I like one starting pitcher more than the other, and I'm getting the plus sign in front of the starting pitcher that I like more. So Brady Singer, he's not perfect by any means. He's primarily sinker, throwing the slider a little bit less, but he does a really, really good job at a couple of things that the Braves just aren't very good against. He's been better at avoiding some of the walks, and I think he's been really unlucky, giving up 9 barrels already this season. I think that's only going to come down. So I think the worst is probably behind him, and he's already got pretty good metrics in terms of run prevention, and he gets a deep left field wall, which is very helpful because he'll allow some pulls to righties that are not good. And then despite what you saw from Austin Riley yesterday, there's a lot of times you break down hitters in Truist and those pull hitters just can't get it out of the park. And so you give me that for Brady Singer. I feel pretty confident here as opposed to him pitching in Cincinnati.
Toast, I think, kind of agrees with you that he trusts Brady Singer here because, wait, Toast, didn't you take both the team total over and the money line?
Yeah, I have both. Reds team total over 3.5 and Reds money line. Just because I do think I don't really need to add anything with Singer. I think that he pitches well too. Again, his 2 road starts this year. I mean, Miami and Milwaukee. The Milwaukee one was bad. The Miami one was decent, but it's not that. I think that anytime that we're going to get him out of Cincinnati, you have to give him a little bit of an upgrade because of the ballpark. And not to mention the fact that Lindy did a really good job of talking about the Brave spot because that was part of my bet too. But I also think that Cincinnati has a really big advantage in the bullpen as well. Pagan, Santillan, haven't worked in a couple days. Ashcraft and Rogers has only worked once in the last 3 days. So I just feel like later on in this ball game, it turns into the Cincinnati side a lot easier for me. So, and I'm getting plus 125, plus 130, whatever it lands on. So I took a shot with both. Yes.
So just responding to some of the comments, I'm not saying Brady Singer is trash or anything like that. It's just Brady Singer last year, I trusted him at home in Kansas City. Didn't really trust him as much on the road. And I think the Braves bats are coming around a little bit. They don't look excellent. That's the part I'm a little iffy on is Brady Singer, but I'm on board with the red scoring. And
for me, I feel I'm on board with Brady Singer because of what I've seen from him at home. I know that, I mean, the 7 innings jam against Texas, that was good. The Pittsburgh start, I mean, he only gave up 2 hits. I mean, he gave 3 of them it was a home run. I mean, obviously, but only 2 hits in 5 innings. That's not terrible. And then Cincinnati, St. Louis, another 2 hits in 6 innings. So even in that bad ballpark for runs, he's pitched really well. So it gives me a little bit more confidence with Brady.
Lindy, what are your thoughts on Cubs fans?
Kyle's mortal enemy.
I hate Cubs fans, dude. This season, this is a new thing. I never had a problem with Cubs fans until they were actually decent for 2 weeks. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Yo, there's no way this is real.
You're muted. Yes. You must have clicked the mute button because your connection's fine.
I've been there, so I can't.
Yeah, I mean, his connection's crystal clear. It's not his connection. It's just his mic must have got unplugged or something.
But
he looks.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Mother of Christ Jesus, our Lord and Savior, amen. Pete Crow Armstrong, how you like that dick, you fuckers? How about that?
Well, I like it a lot because I got him at MVP at plus like 15,000. So
who told you to bet that?
Yeah, what the wait, actually Lindy was big on Pete Crow Armstrong, but 15,000 doesn't seem long enough to bet that.
But I honestly think
down to like 6,500 now.
He's a top 2 or 3 gloved center field. He is hitting for power now. He is doing everything that was promised. He's the chosen one.
On a team that the public loves, on a team that baseball wants to win. All is good for Pete Crow Armstrong right now. Go ahead, Lindy.
Lindy, do you think it's possible that the Cubs collapse is beginning with that 4-0 loss yesterday?
You want it so bad. We're going to just talk about all the theoretical things that Sauce wants on this show. The Knicks are going to cover. I'm going to find gold in my backyard. Like, I don't know.
I live in Alaska. That's possible.
So what do you think of this game, Lindy?
Yeah, it's a weird one. Weather is awful. It is blowing hard in from left. It is cold. It is frigid. I was going to jam Kyle Tucker props against Landon Rupp, and I'm just not going to do anything, I think, with this game. Whenever you lower the variance down to this, it's basically like 7.5. There is no juice on anything. Like, there's no meat on the bone anywhere. I've been looking at this game for like half an hour today trying to find an angle, and I don't have it. So it would be probably with you under 7.5 or past at this point in time. Anytime that I'm just looking at jamming unders on pretty much every batter. I mean, I want to play Kyle Tucker there. Top of the lineup. Numbers look a lot lower than they should be, but you look at this game environment, it is so brutal. So I'm just going to probably end up passing.
I actually got it at 8 last night. This is the most CLV I got was on this under. I got an under.
CLV king.
Yeah, well, on this one, not so much on my other ones.
Until you see the CLV I got.
But I got under 8 in this one, and it's not a fade of the Cubs bats against Rupp. I understand that's a beautiful matchup. Not a bet on Rupp at all in the slightest. I want to be very adamant about that. It's a bet on this ballpark. When wind's blowing in Wrigley, the final score is 2-1. It's just that's how it is in this ballpark. It doesn't matter if the Dodgers come to town. The wind's blowing in at Wrigley, the final score is going to be 2-1. That's just the under seem to hit a lot here when the wind's blowing in. So it was just a bet on the ballpark. When wind's blowing in at Wrigley, I'm going to lean towards the under blindly before I look at anything else. So I'm on the under 8 in this one. Toast.
I bet the Cubs at open at 145. Don't know if I would bet it at minus 170. But I've been on the Landon Rupp sucks train for a couple weeks now. And I will not stay off of that. I guess I don't really know what case you could make for San Francisco, to be honest. I mean, even the lefty starters that they've seen, they've seen some decent ones, but they've also seen some pretty bad ones, but they're not really doing anything off of lefties. And Kyle's been talking about the San Francisco offense for a week and a half now about how bad they've been. So and on top of all that, I think that Matthew Boyd's really, really good. So Matthew Boyd's also faced some of the best lineups in Major League Baseball so far this year. On the road at Arizona, the Padres, on the road at the Dodgers, on the road at the Padres, the Dodgers again, and then on the road at Pittsburgh. He got caught a little bit of a break, but I have no reason to believe that Matthew Boyd shouldn't pitch well here today. Not to mention the fact that Chicago's lost their last two home games in extra innings. They usually win these type of games with the bad weather. I like Chicago to win. I don't know if I'd pay 170.
This game was kind of a waste for both of us, Toast. I'm looking. Pinnacle now has this down to 7, and the Cubs are 170, minus 175. So both of our bets are just long gone here. Sorry about that, guys. Probably should have checked. I didn't realize it was that bad.
I didn't realize it was that bad either.
Yeah, well, aside of the total, it's usually not that insane. But yeah, a lot of move. Our bets are long gone. Astros Brewers. I think this is an interesting one. How do you not take Houston at this price? Minus 105.
I put a half a unit on it because I was like, you know what? I'm not a blonde.
You bet the
Alvarez
Astros
got put on IL. You saw that, right?
Oh, is that official?
Yep, just came through
2
minutes before we started the show. He got put on IL.
I didn't even hear who he said.
Yordan Alvarez.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
So it would only be Houston, but with no Alvarez, maybe it makes the price make sense a little bit. I don't know. I didn't bet the game.
Go ahead, Lindy.
Yeah, it's a awful, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad spot. Although weather is terrible everywhere today, this will at least be indoors and fine. It's just the annoyance that is Houston. There's nothing that changes for them on a day in, day out basis because it's all bad righties, and you're just throwing garbage righties up there on a day in, day out basis and relying on, Jeremy Pena to keep having a 300 expected batting average and move the line. Christian Walker home run was something I entertained and ended up passing on it entirely. Tobias Myers is okay. 190 expected batting average is fantastic and much improved over 251, but we have such a limited sample size. He's only had 3 starts this season, and he started on the 2nd. I don't expect him to pitch that deep into this. He pitched an inning 3 days ago. I think this ends up being a bullpen situation majorly on the Milwaukee side, and I think that's generally much better for the Milwaukee side, and I see why the numbers have kind of gone that direction. I get where you're saying minus 105 Ronel Blanco, but I think it would be a Milwaukee or pass for me.
I bet Houston small. for one, I'm at a point where I don't know what to think of this Milwaukee offense. They really haven't looked good over the last couple of days. I know they won yesterday, but it was a couple singles and some. I mean, Imanaga got injured. They were facing a pitcher that wasn't ready to come into the game. So I'm not. Again, I just don't really put too much stock in that. I bet the Brewers it was great, but this Brewers bullpen has been absolutely terrible, and we continue to harp on that. So it might be a bullpen day, and some of those guys might look decent today. But McGill, Koning, Uribe's went back-to-back nights. He's probably not available. The other two worked yesterday, and Houston's going to have everybody behind Blanco rested and ready to go. So even without Alvarez, I mean, Houston scored some runs yesterday. I get that it was the White Sox, but it is what it is. I mean, I'll take my chances with Houston. I put it for a half unit. I was assuming that we wouldn't see Jordan, but we'll see what happens.
If I was to bet this game, I would go under 8.5. The reasoning is just kind of weird. I watched the entire Cubs Brewers game yesterday, start to finish. The ball was not carrying at all. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm telling you, I saw Imanaga get barreled up 4 or 5 times for it to fall 20 feet short of the warning track. I don't really know why. I don't really understand this. The ball just did not seem to be carrying in this ballpark. So if I was to bet this game, I would go under 8.5, but I'm not. I don't know if that makes even any logical sense. There were several times through the game I'm like, oh, he smoked that. And I was like, wait, what? I don't know.
Imanaga on IL too.
Yeah, he faked the pulled hammy. I'm joking, he didn't fake it. That
Man,
was a joke.
Savage.
That was a joke we made last night. We're like, oh, he knew that the runs were coming. He's bailing, but he's actually injured, so probably not the best thing to joke about. White Sox on the road in Kansas City. I have no freaking idea.
Yeah, pass.
Lindy, yeah, toast.
Nope. Easy pass.
All right.
Should Cole Reagans bounce back? Sure. Do his strikeouts.
Yeah, weather really good for pitching. Yeah, I under or pass.
Yeah, let's just skip it, honestly. Pirates, Cardinals. Toast?
I played first 5 over 4.5 here. I really wanted to play the Pirates first 5 team total, trying to target Michaelis. Just because, well, 2 reasons. One, I do think that the Pirates with O'Neal Cruz can get to Michaelis. I mean, but my thing is that he hasn't given up a run in his last 2 starts. As I like to say, sooner or later, those dams are about to break. And on top of the fact that I just think that Mlodzinski's pretty bad, I will say that some of his numbers, like through the first time through the order, aren't really terrible. They kind of looked at that on the broadcast and then looking at it again, like it's kind of impressive what he's been able to do. But this Cardinals offense has been somewhat decent, especially over the last week and a half or so. So I trust them to get a couple off Mlodzinski. I know that I don't know what the weather situation is as of earlier today, but it wasn't anything terrible. I mean, it was like 60, 65 degrees with some wind blowing out. So I don't think the weather really matters that much. So I played first 5 over 4.5.
I personally think the number's down in a playable range for St. Louis. I know they just played a doubleheader yesterday, and that's what everyone's talking about, the doubleheader. But Helsley, 2 of the last 3, maybe no Helsley, but Maton, Lee, whatever that guy's name is, Jojo Romero. I mean, these guys are going to be available if they need them. And we're talking about a home game for the Cardinals against the Pittsburgh bats with Mlodzinski on the mound. I know that the Cardinals just played a doubleheader, and it's clearly influencing the market to get the Cardinals at such a good price. It was like minus 150 last night. It's down to minus 134. I said Cardinals or pass on the midnight show last night. I think it's getting close to a playable range. I mean, at what point do we take a step back and be like, hey, guys, it's the Cardinals at home against the Pirates with the starting pitching advantage. What are we doing here? I think it's Cardinals at this number.
It was a huge line move from last night. I think Pittsburgh was like 140-ish last night, right?
Yeah, they're taking Pittsburgh money. Last night it was just like, whatever, Cardinals are pass. But now it's getting to the point where, like, I think we're in a playable range for St. Louis. What do you think, Lindy?
I would agree.
Yeah, it'd beat Cardinals for me here as well. Don't have a ton to add. It's getting to just be kind of a strange situation here with St. Louis. Obviously, back-to-back against the Mets looks pretty good. Brendan Donovan, Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson up there batting second today. A little bit of an upgrade. Just trying to get as many lefties rolled out against Mlodzinski as possible. He is terrible, horrible, no good, very bad. But so is Miles Michaelis. And O'Neal Cruz was jumping out at me a little bit too. But Miles Michaelis has just weirdly found ways to survive the last 2. And if you're going to survive against a team, Pittsburgh against right-handed pitching, Oh boy, are they bad. 82 WRC plus, second worst in baseball.
That's what I'm saying.
I did play O'Neal Cruz over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs plus 125. The only reason I didn't put in the underdog because every underdog I post, 2 of the 3 win. So I don't need that.
And Kyle, I gotta get myself rolling. Unfortunately, I apologize. So I wanted to say Seattle money line is definitely where we want to be there, but oddshopper.com, you guys can definitely go find me. But sorry that I have to bolt here early today. No
worries at all, man. We've been going too long anyway. So later, Lindy.
Good luck, Lindy.
I want to add for this game.
Toast. I hope you have a great betting day. Good luck to you, sir.
Have a good day.
Good luck. So in the voice chat last night, which by the way, our voice chat's at 10 p.m. That goes on every night. Charles and Shriek and Steez. Steez likes O'Neal Cruz to hit the first home run of the game. I don't know. You gotta ask him. Plus 430. That is. Steez likes O'Neal Cruz to hit the first home run of the game. A market I didn't even know existed. All right, Toast. We got 2 games left. Mets, Arizona. I mean, I don't really know. Last night, I was saying Griffin Canning over Hitch just because the Mets coming off the doubleheader, they used their bullpen up a little more so than the Cardinals did in that doubleheader. Let me pull it up right here. Actually, no, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I was going to say it's still not even bad. No. Neither one of these bullpens. I was going to say I would actually argue that the Arizona bullpen is in worse shape.
Yeah, so scratch what I just said.
Just because of the usage. But I mean, again, that's kind of like splitting hairs a little bit. I don't know what to do in this game. I mean, it's kind of like the last game we were just talking about. I'm at a point where I kind of want to take the Mets around plus money. Like, I don't understand the whole line move to Arizona. I mean, we know that Ryan Nelson in the past is a definitely fade at home. I mean, going back to last year, his last 2 starts at home have been decent against Philadelphia and the Mets. So if you're trying to grasp at that, I don't know. But I mean, look at the Arizona bullpen behind him. I mean, they're going to have, let's just say, for instance, that Ryan Nelson, who has gone, like about 6 innings his last few starts, going back to last year as well, because obviously he hasn't started this year. Sorry. But that's why I kept on saying last year. But I mean, he's been going 6 innings or so. But I mean, being his first start, let's just say he goes 5 or so. I mean, who are you going to bring out of the Arizona bullpen? Because it's not Jalen Beeks is 2 of the last 3. He's a middle reliever. Morello is 2 of the last 3 as well. He's a middle reliever. Jose Castillo and Tommy Henry are both AAA arms up because Martinez, Graveman, and Puck are on the IL. So innings 6, 7, 8. Or I'm sorry, 6, 7, 5, 6, and 7, what have you. You're going to be, that's a really question for Arizona for me. And Shelby Miller, who's their closer, he went 22 pitches yesterday. Kevin Ginkgo went 19 pitches yesterday. I mean, they also worked Thursday and Wednesday. I get they had 2 days off, but then they also had to travel across the country. It would only be the Mets for me. I didn't make a play in this game. I didn't play the over. I was thinking over because I do think that Griffin Canning is more than capable to give up some runs. I know that he hasn't so far. But this Arizona offense, especially versus right-handed pitching, is so very good. One of the best in baseball. But I, again, don't love the spot for Arizona. And I don't think that neither one of these bullpens is in such bad shape that you just can assume that runs are going to come late in this ball game. So it would only be the Mets for me, especially at the price. But I didn't bet it.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows what to expect from Ryan Nelson making his first start of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I just don't put too much into either the Cardinals or the Mets in that doubleheader. I don't just put too much stock into that. It's not an instant fade because of the spot. If their bullpens would have been worked up the prior days, then maybe we would have had a conversation, but they should be all right for the most part.
Mariners on the road in Sacramento to play the A's. Lindy had already said before he left he likes the Mariners in this one.
Yeah, it would make sense. It makes sense. They have I would say the starting pitching has to be a wash, but I definitely think they have the bullpen advantage, and I definitely think they have the offensive advantage, especially with the bats are concerned. So for me, I played over 8.5. It was one of my smaller plays. This in Houston were just like half unit plays. But it's just me Well, the Mariners, as we've talked about, is one of the best offenses in baseball right now. I know they've had a couple duds the last couple of days in Texas. So if that continues, I guess so be it. But they're going to get Severino, who's been really, really good at home, or really, really good on the road, not so good at home. The home starts against the Cubs, the Padres, the White Sox, and the Mets. The Mets are the only team that he really pitched well against. I mean, Chicago, the White Sox, it was 3 runs on 6 innings. But I mean, it is the White Sox, and this Seattle offense is much, much better than that offense. And then on top of that, the Oakland bullpen really hasn't been good at all. I know that Mason Miller's been good, but in general, throughout this year, this Oakland bullpen hasn't been good. So I do think that there's going to be a lot of chances for Seattle here. I know that the Oakland bullpen has, I guess some of their numbers are kind of an enigma because of how well Mason Miller was pitching, but some of those guys you really can't trust, especially the bottom level guys that you're probably going to see tonight. And then as far as Seattle's concerned, Bryce Miller, just really hard to trust him on the road in general. I mean, and not to mention the fact that he is, for whatever reason, the control issue this year is just out of this world. I mean, 5 walks against the Angels at home. I mean, he didn't give up any runs, but I mean, how many times are you going to give up or walk 5 guys in a baseball game and not give up runs? So, and then to start before that, he had 4. So in his 3 road starts, he had 1 good one in Cincinnati, which again seems to be an enigma because San Francisco and Boston both got to him. And I don't think that either one of those teams offensively really scare you, and especially what Boston has shown us the last couple of nights, especially when Boston's at home. So I have a hard time believing Bryce Miller puts up some zeros too. So yeah, I played over 8.5.
I guess I can get on board with an over. I really don't know though. The price seems really short for Seattle.
That's why I didn't play Seattle. That's exact 100%. I just doesn't feel right. I said that last night too. Just something doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I'm not betting this either. It's.
And I love Bryce Miller, so I hope he pitches well. I hope I lose and Lindy wins because that'd be nice. But yeah.
All right, everyone. New betting league starts today. The deadline is in 53 minutes. So this is for people. There's a lot of people that messaged me and said, I missed out on last week. Let me know to get back in. So it starts today. You have 53 minutes to submit your picks for the night. Just go to KyleKirms.com if you're not already doing that. If you are already in, just make sure you submit. Don't forget. I'll post a reminder in the Discord and tag everybody because I can't tell you how many times the league starts and Monday at 8 o'clock I get messages like, oh, I missed another week. Yeah. It's like just you got 52 minutes now to go submit. Everyone, thanks for watching. Enjoy your night. We'll be back at midnight to have ourselves a good one. Please bet responsibly. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me. I'll be here working